The Allies didn't just have hand grenades in World War II, but their inventory was surprising. From the improvised prototypes to the mass-produced legends, let's take a look at every single hand grenade that took to the battlefield. Let's begin with American fragmentation grenades. Mk2 Pineapple Grenade. This was arguably America's most iconic fragmentation grenade. It was reliable, deadly, and could certainly match the enemy's best. The distinctive segmented cast-iron body gave it excellent fragmentation characteristics. Weighing about 1.3 pounds with a 4 to 5 second fuse delay, it had a lethal radius of 5 meters and could send fragments up to 250 meters. It was the most numerous grenade used by American forces during the conflict. From the beaches of Normandy to the jungles of the Pacific, the pineapple was everywhere. Its distinctive grooves weren't just for fragmentation, they provided a better grip when throwing. Had production been available earlier in the war, things might have been very different. Mk3 Concussion Grenade. It was designed for clearing enclosed spaces without endangering the thrower. While effective in trenches and buildings, it was severely underpowered in open combat. The cylindrical body was made of pressed fiber or laminated paper, containing about 8 ounces of TNT. With only a 2-meter casualty radius, enemy forces often considered it easy prey in open field engagements. However, its lightweight made it easy to throw farther than the heavier Mk2. Now, let's move on to British grenades. 36mm Mills Bomb. This sturdy design was the standard British hand grenade throughout both world wars. The M designation indicated it was waterproofed for tropical use, specifically developed for Mesopotamia. Weighing 1.7 pounds with a 4 to 7 second fuse delay, it used baritol explosive filling. The Mills bomb was reliable, effective, and served British forces from 1915 through the Korean War. Its segmented cast-iron body produced devastating fragmentation, making it one of the most successful grenade designs in military history. Now, this is the No. 69 grenade. This was a desperately fast but specialized lightweight design. It was nicknamed the Instant Killer by many soldiers. Unlike the Mills bomb's timed fuse, the No. 69 used an impact detonator. Weighing only 13 ounces, it exploded on contact, making it perfect for clearing rooms and bunkers. However, a small contingent of troops found it dangerous in jungle environments where vegetation could trigger premature detonation. Nevertheless, British paratroopers and commandos operated them with remarkable courage during special operations. Moving on to German stick grenades, the iconic potato masher, Stielhandgranate 24. An earlier generation design featuring a distinctive wooden handle, which made it clearly recognizable on any battlefield. The stick design allowed German soldiers to throw it significantly farther than spherical grenades, up to 40 meters compared to the Allies' 25 to 30 meters. Weighing 595 grams with a cylindrical explosive head containing TNT, it was primarily a concussion grenade. The thrower pulled a cord at the base of the handle to ignite the fuse. While it lacked the fragmentation of Allied grenades initially, a fragmentation sleeve called a splittering was later developed to increase lethality. It remained Germany's standard grenade throughout both world wars. Up next, Stielhandgranate 43, a slick design primarily used for the final years of the war. It featured an improved ignition system and was cheaper to produce. The modified pull cord mechanism was more reliable than the Model 24. This design spawned a variety of variants, including ones with fragmentation sleeves and smoke-producing versions used throughout Germany's defensive campaigns. Now, let's move on to Soviet grenades. F1 Limonka grenade. This was the Red Army's standard defensive fragmentation grenade, nicknamed Limonka, Little Lemon, due to its shape. It was based on the French F1 design from World War I. With a serrated cast-iron body and a 60-gram TNT charge, it had a devastating 30-meter fragmentation radius. Weighing 600 grams, it used the UZRGM fuse with a 3.24-second delay. The F1 was incredibly effective in defensive positions but dangerous in offensive operations due to its large fragment throw distance. Soviet soldiers were trained to throw it only from behind cover. It was so successful that it remained in service well into the 21st century. RG-42 grenade. This was a foreign-inspired design hurriedly developed to bolster Soviet offensive capabilities. The sheet metal body weighed only 420 grams, making it easy to throw. Unlike the F1, it had a reduced fragmentation radius of 15 to 20 meters, allowing soldiers to advance quickly after throwing. While quick to produce and reasonably effective, troops complained about its lighter explosive charge compared to German stick grenades. However, its simplicity meant the Soviets could manufacture them in massive quantities, critical during the desperate defense of Stalingrad and Moscow. Moving to Japanese grenades. Type 97 grenade. This was the standard Japanese fragmentation grenade during World War II. Weighing 450 grams with a segmented cylindrical body similar to the American pineapple, it used a 4-5-second fuse delay. However, the fragments were notoriously small and less lethal than Allied equivalents. Its distinctive feature was the striker pin located on top, which soldiers struck against a hard surface or helmet to ignite the fuse. While intended to be reliable, the ignition system occasionally malfunctioned in humid Pacific conditions. Type 91 grenade, an earlier generation design featuring both hand-throwing and rifle-launching capabilities. With a 7-second fuse delay, it was longer than most grenades at the time. It consisted of a serrated cast-iron body with 65 grams of TNT. The Type 91 could be launched from the Type 10 and Type 89 grenade dischargers, the knee mortars feared by Allied troops. It was relegated to secondary use once the Type 97 entered production, though some units still served with them throughout the Pacific campaigns. Finally, the anti-tank grenades. RPG-40 anti-tank grenade. This was a promising but ultimately crude prototype. While intended to be a stopgap anti-tank weapon during the desperate early years of Operation Barbarossa, testing revealed it didn't meet the standards required for reliable tank destruction. The oversized explosive head on a wooden stick handle weighed 1.2 kilograms. With no shape charge technology, it relied purely on blast effect. Against early German panzers with thin armor, it occasionally worked. Against later models like the Tiger and Panther, it was virtually useless. RPG-43 anti-tank grenade. This was perhaps the Soviet Union's most modern and effective anti-tank grenade design. Its shape-charge warhead allowed it to penetrate enemy armor thanks to the Monroe effect. The 95mm heat warhead weighed 1.24 kilograms and could punch through 75mm of armor. A fabric drogue stabilizer deployed mid-flight, ensuring the shape charge struck at the correct angle. Despite being an excellent weapon, poor tactical deployment and the need to get dangerously close to tanks meant that grenadiers suffered incredibly high casualty rates. Nevertheless, it remained in Soviet service through the end of the war and was even copied by other nations. Let's look at Italian grenades. SRCM Mod 35 Red Devil. A very distinctive red-painted design. It was part of Italy's modernization program before the war. The aluminum body with hemispherical ends housed 40 grams of TNT and weighed only 200 grams total. The nickname Red Devil came from its bright red paint, which made it easily identifiable. It used an impact fuse, detonating on contact. However, manufacturing problems and Italy's industrial limitations delayed its rollout, meaning only a relatively small number saw action compared to Allied and German grenades. Breda Mod 35, another Italian impact grenade with a similar design philosophy to the SRCM. Weighing 150-200 grams with a 60-gram TNT charge, it was lightweight and easy to carry. The aluminum construction made it cheap to produce. However, its impact fuse made it dangerous to handle in rough terrain. Italian forces used it primarily in North Africa and the Balkans, though it never achieved the reputation of the Mills bomb or pineapple. Finally, smoke and special purpose grenades. M15 White Phosphorus Grenade. Nicknamed Willie Pete, this was an American smoke and incendiary grenade. It contained white phosphorus that ignited upon exposure to air, creating a thick smoke screen while also burning anything it touched at temperatures over 800 degrees Celsius. Weighing about 900 grams, it had both tactical, smoke screen, and anti-personnel, burning applications. Troops used it for signaling, screening movements, and as a terror weapon against entrenched enemies. The burning phosphorus was nearly impossible to extinguish, making it one of the most feared weapons of the war. M14TH3 Incendiary Grenade. This was designed specifically to destroy equipment rather than kill personnel. It used a thermite compound that burned at approximately 2,200 degrees, hot enough to melt through engine blocks, weapons, and artillery pieces. Weighing about 900 grams with a 40-second fuse delay, it allowed soldiers to safely retreat after placement. While it couldn't be thrown like a standard grenade due to the long fuse, it was invaluable for sabotage operations and denying equipment to the enemy.